Hello there. Welcome to the Monday Mindset Rants. I am your host, Kios, the Ronin Beatmaker. And on this episode, we're going to discuss understanding our domestication and attachments. When you become attached to an object, idea, or belief, you make a part of who you think you are. Then, once the fog has you, your vision is obscured. You will no longer see the humanity of an individual who doesn't agree with you, as you can only see the personification of an idea that you stand against. Don Miguel. Your humanity is only as present as the humanity you see within others. Without a sense of humanity or soul, you are more easily susceptible to becoming attached to an object, idea, or belief. Then you associate this with who you are as an individual, thus replacing your soul or humanity. Such attachments can lead towards a life of pain, suffering, obsession, death, pleasure, the eradication of entire civilizations. Consumed in the fog is to be consumed by the eyes, clouded by the inability to be a fully functioning person. Viruses of unhealthy attachments linger in the droplets of the fog. With each exhale, the deeper the inhale. Into the same breath that gives you life and purpose, gives you horrors and nightmares. Lost in the seas of the mind, the dream of Ithaca falls to the bottom of the sea. To reach home is to reach your humanity. However, if the fog is all you see, then the personification of what it means to be is the very enemy you stand to defeat. Home becomes a nightmare you never wish to see, while hell becomes the very dream you wish to sleep. To develop an unhealthy attachment is to develop the inability to wake up. The moment you become aware of an attachment is the moment it begins to lose its hold over you. Identifying attachments and imagining their collapse gives you the opportunity to see the authentic self free from any attachment, as ultimately the truth of who you are is much greater than any item, role, or belief. Don Miguel. Without awareness of our domestication and attachments, blur our perception. Recognizing both allows us to clear the fog and see the truth of the present moment. Currently, we are living in a time where people, and I would say since the beginning of 2020, people have lost their individuality due to the pressures of the lockdowns and the economic turmoils and the political instabilities. People were broken and thus easily susceptible to the hive mentality, to the fog, to complacency. And so we see people now who don't even have an actual individual thought. All they have are talking points. So, what are we supposed to do with individuals who all they have are talking points? They don't have critical thinking skills. Sometimes you're going to have to ask yourself, especially when you encounter you know, highly degreed individuals or groups of individuals, you have to start wondering nowadays, have these people always been this stupid, or were they ever even smart to begin with? And we live in this time now where we have so many people who have given up their individuality for the safety of an idea, of a belief system. And, it's become clearly stated that now politics is an extension of religion. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's kind of hard to tell. There are those who worship certain political figures as if they are the Pope or God themselves. And that leads to a fog of inability to discern reality from the false reality, from the propaganda. And you, as an individual like me, and there are many like me out there, I mean, you're listening. That should tell you everything you need to know. We see all of this, we've been observing it. And the writing is on the wall. You look at the infighting within the political spheres of America. They're eating each other. Nothing more than a bunch of cannibals. These political, religious zealots of democracy or republic. Maybe Palpatine was right. Oh, man. But absolute power corrupts absolute. And the funny thing about it is you have so many people out here who think they have power, who pretend, but they don't even realize they're not on the cool table. They're not on the cool table. They're on the outside looking in. And they're trying to shush and wave everybody else, saying, it's not your turn. Sorry, you're not supposed to be here. I am. As you continue to shove your face at that glass, hoping to be part of the in crowd. Needless to say, you're too busy looking at all the glamour and gold to watch as the in crowd eats itself, betraying one another. I mean, who thought it was a good idea to support genocide? But hey, it's a belief, right? A religious ideology for some, many of which think they're in some type of crusade. Well, then please put on the chainmail, grab your long sword, and why don't you march across the Gaza Strip? Or why don't you march towards the Russian line? Take your pick. You have become so domesticated within these ideologies, you have convinced yourself that you are some type of warrior elite. when 70 to 80% of the population is overweight, and that includes you, Mr. Christian nationalist, Mr. Slava Ukraine, Mr. Protect the interests of the military industrial complex before the interests of the American people. These ideologies. We must protect the fluoride in the water. We do not need to put oversight over the pharmaceutical industry. It will destroy the healthcare system. The healthcare system. These silly ideals that you find yourself exhaling from the fog that you can barely see what it even means to be alive anymore. You have forgone your soul. You have sacrificed it for the protection and the complacency and the right to feel that you are in the right, that you are on the right side of history, that you know what is right for the people, when you can't even take care of yourself. So many people are afraid of accountability of oneself that they would rather spend their entire life trying to hold others accountable for the very things they fail to change. This fog is quite something. Sometimes I wonder if it's coming from all the cloud seeding in the air. As they dumb us down, perhaps they're just also creating susceptibility. You know, these things that we live through currently and the way we react to them are intrinsic to whether we choose to live a life of a lesson learned or to choose to live life the hard way. We have been given a test of our resolve, a test to see whether or not we truly appreciate what it means to be alive, what it means to be human. What it means to be an individual. Freedom is free, but only for those who have freed themselves. Have you freed yourself? You may ask me, well, Ronan, what am I freeing myself from? Yourself. Until then, are you truly alive? Or are you just another NPC? Do you dream when you are awake and live when you slumber? Such an addiction needs rehab. Many of you are not ready for that conversation. But you see, I often try to wonder, why is it that people are so afraid to be? Why are they so afraid to be who they are? You know, our we are products of our environment, and we can choose to learn from it or become it. And you would think throughout the experiences that people have lived, as we approach this new age, you would expect a little bit more of self-awareness. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I don't know what we can do as individuals to aid in those lost in the fog. You could damn near become engulfed yourself if you linger too long in trying to save those you care for. It is a dangerous, dangerous time that we are living in, where you can fall victim to the very things you broke away from. Their methodologies are changing. Their strategies are adapting. But can you brace for the attacks? Is your spider sense tingling? Or are you too busy bathing in Slanesh? We live in the age of domestication, as I like to put it. The domestication of individuals into the hive mentality. Cattle being culled in a fog. While the individual watches beyond yonder. I've given up trying to aid in awakening others. Now I just allow my aura to do the talking. And that seems to be working as of late. But you see, one thing that is clear to me in my mind is that many people are not living in the moment because our attachments in the fog, the ideals, the beliefs, the items that give you power. For some, it's a badge. For others, it's having a place in the Oval Office. But if we are not present in the moment, we are unable to see the past or the future. So many people are caught up in their attachments that all they see is the past. And they regret the future. because the past is no different than the future they will see. And that is what happens when we become addicted to our attachments, addicted to the belief system, addicted to the ideology. Addicted to the object. See, the fog, it generates and it permeates from things. It's almost like a form of ether. You can't see it, but you can feel its presence. It is transcended into such a manner that you can feel it through the sound waves. You can see it in the messages online. Rationality is key to being present in the moment. When we are in the moment, we are allowed to use our rationality to elevate our critical thinking. Being critical of your moments allows you to react in a manner that allows you to feel comfortable, strong, safe. When you react in the future or about the past, you cause damage to the present moment, which then affects any possibility of an outcome. And that is the problem when we become attached to things. We're unable to see the outcome of the consequences. And by the time you do, you just might have blood on your hands or racked up an enormous debt or a few years behind bars. If you watch martial art films, if you watch films about warriors, you should observe how they're always in the moment. Bruce Lee said it best: be like water. If I put water in a cup, it sits in a cup. Water can flow, water can crash. You have to be like water. Your individuality must flow like water. Your mindset must dance as water dances upon the pebbles and stones of our reality. You must wake up to be present. Be ready to die, to feel alive. And many of us are afraid to die, so we reject being alive by embracing the hive. And now you're nothing more than an NPC, living a life that is no life at all. So many people would rather live a lie than die with the truth inside. The truth is your soul. Will humanity continue to reject the soul? That is something I oftenly think about. As technology continues to domesticate our attachments to ourselves, it makes it harder for people to see what it means to be real and what it means to be a construct. The reflection you see is the perception of the reality you will be. When your mirror is clear, you can see the divinity in everyone. You can go to any church, synagogue, temple, mosque, or drum circle and find and feel the love and grace of God. For those who are lost in the fog, God just happens to be in the focus of devotion that the religion is centered on. And in other words, the beliefs and rituals of the religion are more important than experience in God. In the present moment, this is the power of unhealthy attachments. Don Miguel. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Monday Mindset. To learn more about myself and how you can support the Monday Mindset, head over to my Patreon page at Ronin Art and Music. That's Ronin Art and Music. If you're interested in reaching out, follow me on social media. On Twitter, Ronin Art and Music, or at me at Kios Ronin, KioosRonin. On Instagram, follow me at RoninArt_music. And if you prefer to email, hit me up at themondaymindset009@gmail.com. That's themondaymindset009@gmail.com. And that is all lowercase. If you're listening to this on your preferred streaming service, please make sure to subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment and a review, and slap that notification bell. On Apple Podcasts, please make sure to subscribe, rate the podcast, and leave a review, as this will help me and the podcast grow. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love. Hello there, I'm Kios Ronin Beatmaker, and welcome to Ronin Art and Music, home to Ronin Music, Lounge Ronin, all things, everything, the Monday Mindset, the Monday Mindset Rants, and Ronin Reviews. We strive to make holistic and authentic content that aims to improve your individuality, mental fortitude, and peace of mind. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love. Now, back to the show.